Kristi Noem testified before Congress today, and it was brutal. She was caught in lie after lie, which were challenged to her face with hard facts and evidence in a way that I think we need more of in this country. This is why the Trump administration hates testifying before Congress, because they hate accountability and they hate being fact-checked. They hate having to go to court, where they can't just spin facts and outright lie to the American people, but instead where they have to bring cold, hard facts and evidence to back up their claims. And it's why they lose and lose and lose in court, because the fabrications that they tell to the public are nothing but flat out lies. And it was made apparent in today's public scathing of Kristi Noem. Now, if you didn't know, Noem is the head of the Department of Homeland Security, which is the U.S. department that oversees numerous agencies, including ICE, Customs and Border Patrol, the TSA, FEMA, the Coast Guard, and the Secret Service, to name a few. She's the one that gives the orders to ICE and Border Patrol coming into your neighborhoods and cities to brutalize American citizens with Trump's secret police, his masked Gestapo, who roll up in unmarked vehicles, gang up on unsuspecting citizens, ram their cars, break their car windows, and drag them out of their vehicles, put them in chokeholds, and disappear them, some to never be heard from again. Citizens are torn from their families with no way of contacting their family or calling a lawyer, thrown into detention facilities where the conditions have been described as torture, where there have been allegations of sexual assault from the officers, and just simply in utterly inhumane conditions, flatly against the laws of this country, including due process violations, Fourth Amendment violations, breaking of local and state law, all while the identities of the officers kidnapping our citizens in broad daylight in public stay hidden so that they don't have to face accountability. Well, they're wrong, and Noem just faced a fraction of that accountability today. So much so that she ended up running out of the congressional hearing in the middle of questioning. It's embarrassing for our country. It's shameful for her, but after the lashing you'll see that she faced today in Congress, it's no wonder the Trump regime prefers their pulpit of lies and corruption instead of having to face the consequences of their actions. You're watching The Matthew Bala Show. Please leave a like and subscribe on this video, and let's get into it. So we're going to start first with Kristi Noem being confronted about deporting military veterans. You're going to see an absolute masterclass of holding her feet to the fire for the claims that she is making that we are not deporting U.S. citizens, that we are not deporting military veterans. This is insane to see, and I appreciate every bit of it from our congressman. This is the questioning that she faced.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you served in the military. I haven't either, but I think you and I can agree that as Americans, we owe everything to those who have served our country in uniform, particularly those who have served in combat. Do you agree with that?
Sir, I believe that people that are in this United States that are citizens have legal status here.
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Se-Jun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. Like many veterans, he struggled with PTSD and substance abuse after his service. He was arrested in the 1990s for some minor drug offenses, nothing serious. He never hurt anyone besides himself, and he's been clean and sober for 14 years. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful for every single person that has served our country and follows our laws.
Can you please tell Mr. Park why you deported him?
Every one of them needs to be enforced.
But you understand that many veterans struggle with PTSD, many veterans struggle with substance abuse challenges. This man took 2 bullets for our country. You have broad authority, by the way, as Secretary, to issue humanitarian parole, to do deferred action. Will you commit to at least looking at Mr. Park's case to see if you can help him find a pathway back to this country that he sacrificed so much for?
I will absolutely look at his case, but I want you to remember that
Madam
our
Secretary, the
programs
man
need to have
behind you,
integrity as
please
well.
stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife Donna has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago. She is currently in prison and facing deportation. Ms. Noem, will you thank Mr. Brown for his service to our country?
Thank you, Mr. Brown, for your service to our country.
Now, what possible explanation can there be for locking up his wife for 4 months when she has committed no crime other than writing a couple of bad checks for $80?
Sir, it is not my prerogative, my latitude, or my job to pick and choose which laws in this country get enforced.
You have
and which
broad
ones
discretion
don't.
as the secretary.
We need to follow
You can issue
the law
parole, you
and
can do all
enforce
kinds of
the
things,
laws.
but you're choosing not to. Will you commit again to just reviewing Donna's case and reuniting this combat veteran with his beloved wife, who also loves this country?
I will review the case.
Absolutely stunning. So when we confront the people in the Trump administration and we confront their actions to their face, when they have to face accountability in this country for the damage that they are doing to the fabric of our country, of America, it's very important that we continue to do so, that we call these people in to Congress, that we hold them accountable for their actions, and essentially that we get them out of office, because the things that are happening right now in America are torture. They are cruel, they are punishment, they are and not righteous punishment whatsoever. And so when it comes to a combat veteran, I think a lot of us could agree easily that a combat veteran deserves our utmost respect for the sacrifices that they've made. But what about asylum seekers, right? A lot of people will still come back with, oh, well, you still got to do it the right way. You got to have the right pathway into America. And just because you're coming here illegally, well, asylum seekers aren't here illegally. That is a legal pathway into the United States. And we're going to see another instance. I'm going to play you the whole clip. Another instance of Kristi Noem just getting absolutely smashed by admitting that they are deporting legal immigrants in the United States.
Secretary Noem, let's talk about the law. Do you agree that asylum is a lawful pathway to immigrate to this country? Yes or no?
There's an asylum program, yes, in place.
All right, so
It wasn't
immigrants then with
divided.
ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country, correct?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Your question was?
Immigrants with ongoing asylum applications are legally in this country.
There are individuals in this country that have applications that
And they are legally here because it's a lawful pathway, right?
it's a lawful pathway.
Okay, so
And I
if
will-
your department then deports anyone with an ongoing asylum application, you are violating the law, correct?
Joe Biden left us with.
I'm not asking about Joe Biden. I'm asking you a
1.5
specific
million
question.
cases
If your
backlogged
department
asylum.
deports anyone with an
That's program.
ongoing asylum application,
The
you
program
are
was
violating the
greatly
law. Is that correct?
It was greatly violated when they allowed.
I'm asking
1.5 million
you.
people to come
I'm
in and
asking you.
granted asylum applications.
Why are you filibustering? Why
by
can't you
ignoring
answer the
laws.
question? It's a
Because,
simple
Joe,
question.
Your president.
If your department
and your secretary
deports
did not follow
anyone
the law
with an
which
ongoing
those
asylum
applications
application, you are violating the law. Isn't that correct?
The asylum program was
Okay.
broken under the last.
Mr. Chairman, I will reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway. If you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening.
It is mind-boggling to me and so frustrating to see these people called into Congress and literally, like he said, try to filibuster their answers, and in a way that they're not actually answering any questions. I think that there needs to be something to stop that. I think that when it comes to testimony before Congress, just like when you do depositions, that there has to be an answer to the question. They need to show up and actually answer for their accountability. I mean, you see her in the video smirk. She thinks this is funny. She thinks this is a game, that she can't be able to use this again as a pulpit to tell lies and to reinforce her position. This is not a spot for her position. This is a spot to come and answer questions factually. Just give a simple yes or no. They even ask that, yes or no. Can you just answer the question simply? And they treat it like a game. And I don't think that American lives, I don't think that the lives of immigrants are a game. I don't think families being torn apart is a game. I don't think it's funny. And it hurts me to my soul to see people mistreated in such a way. And I think that with power comes that responsibility to be able to sit there, take the heat, answer the questions respectfully, and not pretend that this is some game that you're playing while you are intentionally harming American citizens and intentionally harming human beings. You're injuring the fabric of our nation, and it kills me that this administration treats this like a game. And so I think that there should be more accountability on top of this, right? So what good does it do to have someone come into Congress to answer questions when they won't answer questions? What good does it do to bring them in and even give them a slap on the wrist? Give them like, oh, I'm going to give you a really hard talking to, and for what? Like, for what? Then they just leave there, and then what? Nothing happens, nothing changes. Yes, we get some level of accountability in front of the American people, but there has to be more that can be done. And that's exactly where I'm headed with this next clip, where Representative Ramirez is calling for the investigation, filing paperwork for the investigation into Kristi Noem.
I want to be very clear. You have misused resources appropriated by Congress. You've engaged in unethical behavior. You have repeatedly made false and misleading statements to Congress and to the press, and you've undermined the separation of powers and disregarded the role of Congress and the courts. Bottom line, you lie with impunity. You reject checks and balances, and you ignore Congress and the courts. Your options are limited. Either you're going to resign, Trump's going to fire you, or you will be impeached. I've already called for your resignation. You may remember I hand-delivered my request to you back in May, and I urge you to reconsider resignation because I've taken the first step towards your impeachment, and I've called on the Judiciary Committee to open an investigation into your lawlessness. Mr. Chairman, I know that at the end we'll be entering a number of articles into consent, but since I have a few moments, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter calling the Judiciary Committee to investigate Secretary Noem's impeachable offenses. Whatever you choose, the American people will have justice, Secretary, and you will be held accountable. I'm going to make sure of that every single day. With that, Mr. Chair, I yield back.
Yeah, so I agree. That's how it's done. And here's yet another example where basically she is called out for ignoring orders, ignoring courts, ignoring the laws that are put upon her. And he doesn't even let her answer the question because he knows all it is lies. Every question that she's answered has been lies. And so he barely even lets her talk. He knows that she is just going to beat around the bush, that she's not going to answer the question. And so he basically calls it out immediately the moment that she starts speaking.
Yes. Please, let me recall. Secretary Noem, it is a fact that you ignored federal court orders in March and in May of this year. Do you plan on ignoring more federal orders? I'm sick of your lies, and the American people demand the truth.
Because you keep saying it doesn't make it true.
I am sick of your lies. The American people are sick of these lies. American people demand truth.
And so all of a sudden, in the middle of testimony, in the middle of questions, once one person finishes up their questions with her, there are more questions to be had. The hearing is going to continue to run. And Kristi Noem just gets up and walks out. She just leaves. Now, she claims that she had another hearing to get to regarding FEMA, but it turns out that that meeting was canceled, although the meeting was supposed to happen at 1 o'clock, and the meeting wasn't canceled until 12:26. As far as she goes, she left at about 12. So whether or not it was possibly her that controlled canceling that meeting, whether or not she knew that it was going to be canceled ahead of time, like, we have no idea. All of that is speculation. But the fact is that she's attending this hearing and she just gets up and leaves.
I recognize the gentle lady from Texas, Ms. Johnson, 5 minutes of questions.
I'm just going to take the position that she was scared of my questions. Mr. Chairman, if we could stop the clock and
Oh, yes,
wait
no,
till
that,
after all
absolutely.
this.
Clerk will suspend.
If we could reset the time,
Yes.
that would be helpful.
We'll reset the clock.
And again, that meeting ended up being completely canceled. There ended up being no meeting as far as FEMA goes, which you can see reported on here by the Midas Touch Network, that the FEMA meeting Kristi Noem claimed she left today's hearing to attend was canceled. It was just canceled. So we see here reporting from the Hill saying that a highly anticipated meeting at which the Trump administration was expected to reveal its plans to reform FEMA have been abruptly canceled. A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security told the Hill via email that Secretary Kristi Noem found out at 12:26 Eastern that the meeting was canceled. So the meeting had been slated to begin at 1 p.m. The official said that the meeting was canceled Thursday morning while Noem was testifying before Congress, and it's likely that she didn't know at the time that the meeting was canceled. I'm sure no one could have informed her. If she did leave as early as noon, hey, maybe she could have come back. I'm sure she would have loved to have walked back in that room to try to finish up some of her testimony in front of Congress. She didn't, and I can't imagine why. And it's too bad that she didn't stick around, because there was some fiery questions that were headed her way. Call to Activism is posting saying that after Kristi Noem stormed out of her House hearing early, Representative Walkinshaw tore into her on the House floor, well, her absence, on the House floor, and entered into the record the questions that he would have asked her. Check these out.
It's corrupt is the word. That's what I would have liked to ask the Secretary about today. I would have asked if she personally approved the money that flowed to her political and personal allies. I would have asked if whether when she was governor of South Dakota in 2023 and the same firm got $8.5 million of taxpayer money, whether she steered the money to them. Because an official in her administration said she did. That's what I would have asked her. But she had to leave early.
And he goes on to specify that he was prepared to have an honest conversation with Secretary Noem. Well, he might have been, she probably wasn't, about her mismanagement of taxpayer dollars in the emerging scandal surrounding her taxpayer-funded ad campaign. It's just yet another scandal that this administration is embroiled in. And it looks like there's an illegal use of taxpayer money yet again. So the money that you and I pay for working goes to their ad campaigns. And it's ridiculous. And again, that's just one of the things that happened today that I am excited to bring to you guys. So if you like this, again, don't forget to like and subscribe the video. You're watching The Matt Balla Show, and I will see you next time.